Hello everybody, Dr. Dominus, Run Victory here, and here I'm joined by...
Here I come! I'm flying in! Yeah! Oh! Hello! Zane Reborn here, riding Kevin the Dragon.
The true How to Train Your Dragon Master. Are you Hiccup?
Yes, I am Hiccup. This is clearly Toothless. Say hello. Toothless, this isn't even your first time on the channel. No, Toothless, don't run away. Toothless the No! Come back! You played an important role in one of Orca's videos before. Get back here.
This is how the hidden world ended. I was gonna say, this is like a reverse of visual effects, like, Toothless is real, Hiccup is CGI.
Yes, indeed. In fact, I have to... You know what? Good point. We fixed it. There. I'm the... He doesn't want to.
How to Train Hiccup. It's the test flight scene, it's just Hiccup plummeting to the ground. Right, hello. I should give a little bit of context, because this is the first time on my channel. This is Carnivorous Conversations. This is like a little podcast thing I do, me and my friends, Dominus and Zane.
Hello.
Hello.
Usually we talk about Jurassic stuff, so it doesn't really fit on my channel, so that's why it's more over on theirs. Go check them out if you haven't. But for once, we have a topic that we can talk about that suits my channel, and that's the live action How to Train Your Dragon. Yippee!
Yeah. And also, this is our second time recording this, because on our first recording session, we got like 40 minutes in, and then it got corrupted.
But to be fair, half of that was just us being us.
Yeah.
Shh, don't spoil the secrets. Let's pretend we have this in chemistry real.
Oh yeah,
Then-
obviously.
This isn't rehearsed.
Now let's keep the train rolling. Orca, what are we going to talk about first?
Right, let's start with like our general vibes of the, I guess the film. We're looking forward to it, we're happy, we're sad.
So starting with me, judging from what I've seen in the trailer, it looks promising. I'll say that. Cause like, on one hand, the humans are like what I come to expect from a live action remake at this point. It's really hard to capture an animated character and put him in a live action setting and expect us to swallow, hey, that's the character you know. But then, on the dragon half, it's the total opposite of Disney, where it's kind of like they really changed the designs of the animated character, or like the non-human character, to the point where it's kind of unrecognizable most of the times. I'm thinking like Beauty and the Beast or The Lion King, which is just real life lion. But then this one, it's going along the lines of something like the Sonic movie or Detective Pikachu, where it's live action, but it's still very faithful to the original design. At least, that's all I can say about Toothless. The other dragons, can't really say, because it's all just blurry images. I can't get a good look at a natter without his face just blurred.
Based off the trailer alone, I have no strong feelings. I'm extremely meh on the trailer. But as for the film as a whole, I am cautiously optimistic. And that's mainly because it's directed by Dean. And like, them actually bring in the original director. Brilliant. They actually brought in somebody who actually cares about the story. Because what happens a lot of the time, especially with Disney live action remakes, is that they bring in like giant directors to make these live action remakes who have no attachment to the source material. Like Guy Ritchie directed the Aladdin movie. David Lowery, the director of Moon Knight, the director of Green Knight, directed Pete's Dragon and the Peter Pan remake. And also, I'm trying to think of his name. I almost said Alan Silvestri. Hold on.
This is so well. It didn't look like you rehearsed this at all.
I forgot the person's name.
You forgot lines! Lines!
And it's just because I decided to add somebody else new. Hold on. Yes, Robert Zemeckis. They also got Robert Zemeckis to direct the Pinocchio remake, the director of Back to the Future,
Dun, dun, dun.
the director of Back to the Future made the live-action Pinocchio Disney Plus movie.
Marty, you're not a real boy!
You're not a real boy, Marty!
Like, what I think is happening is that they're getting these big auteur directors in and essentially going, hey, if you direct this live-action remake, you get to make your dream project of us. And them wanting to make that dream project, they of course make the live-action remake. Because to them, it's just another step they have to take to making their dream project. But I'm so happy that it seems like they didn't consider doing this with How to Train Your Dragon, because they got Dean, they got the original director. Like, it's an obvious thing to do, and I'm happy they did it.
Well, the studio was gonna do this whether or not without
Yeah.
Dean, wasn't it? So it feels like Dean was like, fine,
Yeah.
I'll do it myself. No one else is gonna touch my baby.
I'm so happy they didn't get some schmuck to make this movie.
Yeah, I was surprising I got the amount of backlash I did for on the initial trailer, because I thought I was like fairly neutral. I say that, but to be honest, it's died down a little bit. I think it was just because a lot of people just saw the thumbnail and just went blah 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 and tried to read subtext where there wasn't even any subtext. There wasn't any criticisms. Like, I was showing my worries and stuff that I think could be an issue or could form a criticism, but I don't really have any concrete criticism until like the actual movie's out, because this is the first teaser. It could either be how it's edited, or more work could be done before the final film comes out. I think inherently, because it is a live action remake, there will be differences and possible weaknesses with the film. I'm definitely of the belief of best medium is animation. The story being retold in a live action setting, I would say offers anything new, but entertainment, I guess, is just like cool. Also, although there is a trend with like live action remakes, they tend to be longer than the original. So if they do add on extra scenes that could flesh stuff out, because obviously the first movie isn't perfect, then I think that would just be positive. It would just be cool. Although I'm definitely going to treat this as its own thing.
Right, because Dean has expanded upon this, and he's actually responded to the specific critique of people saying that this movie is going to be a shot-for-shot remake. Because he left this comment that was actually in response to the racist stuff around Astrid's actor. I didn't really know if I was going to mention that, because racism bad. And the relevant part of this comment is, we are not making a shot-for-shot remake. We just stuck close to key moments to honor the original, which I remain very proud of. The teaser features a few of those moments. Instead of a completely new tale, we aim to establish and deepen, without abandoning the story that fans love. So he's essentially expanding upon certain points. Like, I'm imagining there's going to be like canon events where certain scenes will remain the same and others won't.
Well, yeah, I can see like probably the most iconic scenes, like Test Flight, Forbidden Friendship, Romantic Flight, probably the ending. Don't know about the intro, but I think
so. Half a movie.
Basically, probably See You Tomorrow as well. But like the bits in between can be malleable. Although, I mean, this is just like sort of personal thing. Like, I think they're kind of perfect as they are. Yeah. Really, I mean, all films have flaws, and this film definitely has flaws. But because the live action remake does have a longer runtime, usually judged by the Disney remakes, so they could expand it in that sense. But in terms of the actual scenes between, especially, I'm more relating it between Hiccup and Stoic. I think those scenes are so like perfect in my eyes. That I'm a little bit worried about.
They're gonna Disneyfy it.
I mean, there is a risk with Dean himself revisiting this film because it's the original creator going back to his art, and like from our point of view, the thing that we love, the piece of art which we adore, is flawless, or at least we love it a lot, and we can't really poke that many holes in it because it's the thing we love. Because when we see the movie for the first time, we just see it as a movie. We just see it as an hour and a half long story. But from Dean's point of view, every single frame and sound and emotion was crafted and directed by him and Chris Sanders. And from his point of view, he can see a ton of like issues that he has with the original. And while yes, from a certain point of view, this is kind of good because he gets to go back and fix what he believes are mistakes. But from our point of view, the point of view of the audience, the point of view of somebody who did have to go through that process of making the movie, from our point of view, there isn't any improvements that needs to be made.
I get that from like the having to go back and retouching old projects. I'm kind of like that with my 5-hour video essay on the 9 realms. There's always things I'm like, oh yeah, I want to add that, or I wish I did that differently, but I don't know.
It could just end up like being like Star Wars, where
Yeah.
where they remade stuff, they added like some stuff was like good, but then some stuff was like, wait, why did they change that?
There's just like a giant lizard walking in front of the camera for no reason.
CGI mess.
I don't understand what you're talking about. It's not like excuse me. Excuse me.
It's how do we say it? It's kind of like the animation mistake in How to Train Dragon when Toothless's eye popped open, but instead of that, it's just his eye fell out.
So, since Stoic was the first character to speak in the trailer, or show up in the trailer, I forgot. We're gonna talk about Stoic first, or as Indominus likes to call him, Gimli.
Yeah, yeah, because due to his costume in this movie, to me he just looks like a dwarf. Like he looks like in the scene where he's talking to Hiccup about him killing dragons. It looks like he's about to go, and you have my axe.
Hiccup! That still only counts as one!
I feel like it's still a me thing with seeing Gerard Butler. Like, I'm so used to Stoic being so comedically like kind of huge that it's a bit odd. And plus, Hiccup's actor is a bit like older than I think he should be. So they kind of have more similar compared to like the animated version.
So like basically, usually when we're talking about like Stoic, how the camera's framed for him, it always makes him look bigger.
That's the second point you stole now.
You stolen my point.
Okay, say it then. I'll just add my bit afterwards.
I need to show my expertise here. I need to prove myself.
Okay, you say it. I'll just add my bit after.
Okay. In the original, Stoic is huge. Like, even the camera, like, emphasizes by going to a downward angle and to emphasize how much bigger he is than Hiccup. But
what the camera sees.
Just pure chin. But meanwhile, in the live-action remake, he's just like a head taller than him. And I mean, like, for a guy called Stoic the Vast, he isn't very big.
What the live-action camera sees.
Because he's just like a head taller than him. Like, to make actors look bigger in movies, this happens all the time. They just make them stand on boxes. Like, Tom Cruise does it for practically every single shot. Like, have Stoic just like stand on like a box or two to emphasize how much bigger he is than Hiccup. Like, yeah, it would be inconsistent with the rest of the shots in the movie, but like, you need to emphasize how big he is to not only show that yes, he's the adult here, but also to demonstrate that he is the leader. He makes the rules. He's the imposing power here, and Hiccup is this little person, like looking up to this big, strong figure.
I was gonna say, like, I think it might just be a consistency issue because if they're just walking together, Stoic shrunk.
If we start
Yeah,
we start heading into the scale of Dinosaur King.
In order to, for that specific shot, you see Stoic stand on top of the boxes.
I swear that's
just
a
wears
bit in
height.
He's
a
just
movie.
very insecure about his height.
I swear that's a bit in a movie. I can't remember what movie, but I swear that's a bit.
Yeah, in the third movie.
Oh yeah, with not loud. Oh my god.
Actually, how tall is Gerard Butler?
So we just in the movie, we just see this army of Vikings being led by this little dwarf.
Gerard Butler is 6'2". I am almost as tall as Stoic the Vast.
Wait, I just realised, why is Stoic the Vast called Stoic the Vast and not Stoic Horrendous Attic?
Because he's huge.
He's a unit.
He is mountain-made man.
Man-made mountain. Wait.
So we've said a lot about Stoic, but we also kind of hinted towards about his son. So let's talk about his son, Hiccup. So judging from the few images I have seen, it's just, I guess I can understand that it is hard to translate animated Hiccup to live action because in the animated movies, Hiccup is very thin. He's a very skinny boy with noodle arms. How do you translate that into live action with a regular skinny human with noodle arms for a live action movie? It just doesn't work.
I had the same critique when I saw the trailer. I thought the actor looked too big for the role. But then I saw a picture of Hiccup in a different costume, and he's pretty skinny. He actually looks somewhat like a real life Hiccup.
Yeah, that's really good.
I think what's happening here is that his normal outfit, is like really baggy, so it makes him look a lot bigger than what he actually is. It doesn't really happen in the animated movie because in the animated movie, you don't have the restrictions of real life physics. Even though people do attempt to simulate it, they can be adjusted to give across certain points, and like that's something you can't really get in live action because you can't casually avoid the laws of physics.
Yeah, so I think it's kind of similar to the case of a lot of Disney live action remakes where, okay, if we look at the animated movie of a character, they usually have quite simple, not too simple, but very normal outfits. Just like sometimes, like Aladdin specifically. His costume is just pants and, I don't know, like some kind of vest. He doesn't even have a shirt. But then live action Aladdin, he's just covered in clothes. In fact, all of Agrabah just dressed up to the point where it's like everyone is just wearing a complete costume. And I think that's kind of the same case here, where everyone, or at least in Hiccup's case, it's just he looks the part, but then they put so many clothes on him that he just looks he looks a lot, well, what's the word? Not round, not chubby, but not like poofy. There's the word I'm looking for.
Poofy Hiccup.
I'm not fat, I'm poofy.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm going for.
I really like Astrid's costume. Like, they kept the... Pay attention! They changed it to red instead of blue from the original movie, which I actually quite like because it's more in line with the sequel stuff. And also, Snout is in orange, which is... I kind of like that. There's some colour theory going on with obviously Hiccup being green.
To me, Astrid looks like the only person who looks like a real human and not somebody in cosplay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can see that. I mean, you just look at Astrid and all of a sudden, fish legs.
I hate Fishleg's costume. He is built like a rectangle.
But that's real fish legs. Fish legs is a rectangle.
Yes, in the animated movie, he is built like a rectangle because he is not real. In real life, fat people have curves. They aren't built like rectangles. Trust me, I know from experience.
So basically, fish legs, he just looks like a Roblox character.
Yes!
Oh man, just imagine that cause like the thing is, a lot of the Vikings, especially when you get to Race to the Edge, all of the Vikings have these brick designs, kind of. All the dragon hunters. So then every single character if they did live action, every character would just be a brick. Just a clone army of bricks.
Lego bricks assemble.
Bricks combined to form a bigger brick.
They're all just like iron golems.
Alright, what about the twins? I think, not gonna lie, the twins have slightly grown on me. A little bit. I've seen them in their cosplay.
I can't, looking at this one picture I'm looking at, Tough Nut looks fine to me. I mean, it's blurry, so what do I know? But Rough Nut, I don't know. The angle of Rough Nut just looks kind of off. I need to see like a proper image of her before I can fully judge her.
Yeah, because I will say, I'm not really that sure on the casting of the twins, because Dean did say that he cast them because they were the funniest duos that he came across. But most of the cast are in their early 20s. I'm pretty sure that both of the twins are close to being 30.
Oof. They old. They very old.
They're older than us.
I think Dean should have hired us. We'll have a third. We'll have a third twin.
Yeah.
No, Zane, you could be Buffer Belch, and then
Yes. Perfect.
with the other Heppy and Kevin, and then Doris and I will be Rough Nut and Tough Nut.
Just imagine that. You just an Indominus Rex and an Orca whale riding an amalgamation between a bearded dragon and a tennis ball.
I'd watch that.
Hang on, am I the spark head or the gas head?
Gas head.
Okay. Just use special effects to get the green gas. Ah.
You can just put a scream over the top of that and nothing will change.
And this is the moment where I don't put any effects over that.
That might be better.
Okay, we actually forgot to mention this in the first take, but what about Gobber?
Yeah, I will say, this image I'm looking at right now, I have a good look at Gobber. So, like, from what I can see, the costume, it just looks great, actually. I look at that, I'm like, hey, that's Gobber. I can tell. The others, I have to take a moment to think about who is who. But this one, I can tell right away that's Gobber. I will say, though, from the angle I'm looking at, he kind of short. He's shorter than... Like, we talked about how short Stoic is. This guy, even shorter.
It's Nick Frost. I feel like from this angle, it looked a little bit odd, but I'm still convinced that Nick Frost would be a good Gobber. Like, mind you, I really like Nick Frost.
I don't like Gobber here, period. I think he just looks bad. Like, he looks like a bad cosplay. And I'll be honest, I'm not sure about Nick Frost. He isn't Scottish. He isn't gay. So, can he really be Gobber?
He could do a Scottish accent and... Oh, don't make Gobber straight. Please don't make Gobber straight.
It's Dean. He's not gonna make Gobber straight.
True. Do you know, this is reminding me of the the play of How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah, I was gonna... I said this in a message, like, this looks like a pantomime performance of How to Train Your Dragon.
Mm.
Like,
Okay.
to me, this doesn't look like a movie.
Mm. I don't know why the costumes are slightly off. Maybe it's just because of the photos. Maybe it might be a touch-up thing that they do in the VFX.
The play you're talking about is the one, like the Beijing one, right? Is that the one you're talking about? Or am I thinking of a different play?
Well, there's two plays. There's the one
Okay,
in
yeah.
China, which is Beijing, but the one I was thinking of was the live spectacular. Well, there's three plays actually. There's the live arena, or is it spectacular arena, or whatever.
Because I'm just trying to remember. One of those
But
plays
see
had
the
some
gobsucker
very...
just farting, just holding Gobber on the thing. He's repelled by a farting dragon.
What? Oh. I just got what you said.
It is glorious. Sorry, you remind me of the gobsucker. That's Dragon Existence. It's peak comedy to me. I can't wait to talk about that in the Not Class video. Oh my god. Sorry, Zane, I interrupted you.
I was trying to talk about... Because I remember at least one of these plays had some good costume designs. Like, they actually
That's
looked like the characters... Wait, what?
The
No?
Beijing one, yeah, that was the Beijing one.
Yeah. I remember, like, they were all based on How to Train Your Dragon 2, and it's like, whoa, that looks like Hiccup's outfit. That's just Hiccup's outfit in real life.
Mm-hmm.
It's just... That's the kind of thing... I guess that's kind of the thing people would want from a live... If they ever made a live-action movie. And this... Although, granted, this is all How to Train Your Dragon 2 stuff. I don't think we've ever seen, like, one where they dressed up like How to Train Your Dragon 1, where the costumes, admittedly, are a little more... They're a little more plain compared to Dragon 2. Like, in Dragon 1, it's all leather, kind of dragon skin-esque kind of thing, as well as some shoulder spikes and whatnot. But then in 2, it's like, there's a lot of fur. There's like fur coats and whatnot.
I think that's everything. We caught up. I like the way we went over our initial time. Is now 45 minutes instead of 40 minutes. Despite I feel like we streamlined it. I don't know what happened there.
How?
We streamlined it, yet it came out longer.
That's just us in general. So from
Yeah.
here on, none of this has been pre-thought. It's raw.
Yeah.
I don't want to say what
We
I
get it.
initially thought. It's raw takes. We're raw dogging it. What?
Shut up.
Sorry.
So that's all for characters, right?
I guess what we can, along similar veins, we can talk about the sets. Like, I actually really like the sets. Mind you, but that's just me being excited because, like, seeing this stuff in, like, real world is so cool. Having the arena.
Honestly, that's the thing about live action movies. When they take a animated or something that wasn't live action before, like a cartoon or something, and then you get known to these familiar locations, and then suddenly they say, hey, we're making live action. One exciting thing is that, whoa, like, I'm just gonna do the dragon arena. It's real. Somewhere out there is a dragon arena. It's like, whoa.
Well, it's
That was a
demolished
real
now.
place at some point.
Yeah.
Like, I'll admit, I didn't really like the sets at first because I thought they looked bad. I thought they looked unnatural. I thought they didn't look real. But then we eventually figured out that wasn't really a problem. The problem was the lighting, like especially like in the promo shot where it's Hiccup just standing there in the arena.
Mm.
But for me, for that shot in particular, that looked very fake because the lighting was probably very
I
fake.
think Zane's lit up.
But
he's very bright.
he's giving us an example of bad lighting, of course.
It's overexposure. Photography 101.
Isn't this
You're-
the opposite of what the dragon movie has? Or is this exactly the prime example?
It's close to being the prime example.
Glad I could help with your demonstration.
The shots of the arena where the crew are in it, and like in there, it actually looks good because it's like a sunset, sunrise-esque lighting, and like that looks good because that actually looks real.
Meanwhile, what I'm going through does not. Where is this
Odin-
even coming from?
Odin really is shining a light on you.
Odin, not yet, no!
The All-Father will see you now.
We will never see him again. Thank God.
Oh, finally, that tennis ball is gone. I want his replacement to be Mr. Bean. It's Mr. Bean all over again.
It's a Mr. Bean intro.
So, it looks like the tennis ball game was over. They didn't need me anymore.
Oh, that's sad.
Unfortunately, I was a foul ball.
That's baseball.
Like there is the Forbidden Friendship set, but I don't have that on hand. Actually,
Okay, if you scroll up, you'll see it a bit.
I will say, there are shots in both the trailer and the promo video that are obviously just like taken out in the wilderness, and I think, and I think it looks gorgeous, like
Yeah.
the color grading,
Yeah.
the actual wilderness, like they obviously didn't build the coast of Ireland in a set. Like it's obviously the real thing, and I think that's the reason why this looks better than a lot of the other shots.
Yeah, because I adore a couple of clips we saw in the Downed Dragon scene with like the lights peering through the trees, the sunlight peering through the trees. Mind you, I'm a bit of a sucker for that sort of lighting. I really like that.
My main critique when it comes to that is the camera angles, because I'll use Toothless for demonstration. Because in the original movie, for both the Forbidden Friendship scene and when Toothless gets shot down, even though the shots are around the same area, they're at different angles. Because like the shot of Toothless like staring at Hiccup when he's about to kill him, in the original, it's like this. It's like a slight angle where he's looking like that from a rather wide shot. Like, it's a wide shot, okay? It captures a lot of his body alongside his head as the camera pans up it. But in the live-action movie, his head is right up against the camera like this. Like, I can understand why you would want to do that, because you're closer to him. You get to feel, theoretically, you get to feel a lot more of the emotion because you're closer to the character, like how Hiccup is. But from the other side, it ends up being like a weird uncanny valley effect, because in my mind it's like, oh no, it should be like this and not like that. And the same thing happens also in shots of the Forbidden Friendship scene, specifically when Hiccup touches Toothless. Because in the original, it's a direct profile shot, okay? No angles, exact profiles of both the characters. They are almost in silhouette. Well, angle-wise, they're in silhouette, but lighting-wise, they aren't. But meanwhile, in the live-action movie, it's angled slightly more on Hiccup's side, which I'm not gonna lie, I think that kind of ruins it a bit, because in the original, they both encapsulate their half of the frames. But when Toothless crosses over that's both sides of their frames coming together, joining as one, like the characters. But with this new shot, it kind of ruins that visual storytelling because it's at a slight angle and it's weird.
Speaking about more technical issues, the one thing that we found is that at the end of the trailer, or no, it was the beginning of the trailer, where we saw more of the climax of the film, it was very dull and grey. Even though it's very disappointing, because in the behind the scene shots, the sets and the costumes and everything was very, very vibrant, to be honest, but all of that was gone.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna lie, it's a problem with the industry as a whole. Because what seems like is happening is that Jared Butler is like standing on a green screen, and like he has studio lights like beaming down on him, and like they take and they film that shot and they go okay, and they give it to visual effects artists, and they're like, okay, take this bright shot of Stoic and make it moody. because in order to have a moody atmosphere, you have to build that atmosphere in real life because it helps a lot with building a actual environment because A, the cinematographer can work with it, B, the colors will help because you don't have to decrease or increase anything to make it look natural. And also because a lot of these things are just being tossed off to visual effects artists, which, well, yes, they are extremely talented people, but a lot of the time it won't look good because they're trying to compensate for mistakes made on the set or made in real life.
Is it a thing where, because there's a lot of usage of green screen, they have to keep the lighting relatively flat in the actual, like, initial footage?
Exactly. Like a small example of this, because it's all I can think of at the moment. In Peter Jackson's King Kong, in the Apatosaurus scene where the Apatosaurs are running and they're they're running over the characters. For the actors, this was filmed in broad daylight. The actors never had anything going over them to create shadows. So what they had to do in post is that when the Apatosaurs went over the characters, they had to take them and change it to make it look like they're within a shadow. Which doesn't look right because while they're trying their damnedest to try and make them look like they're in a shadow, in the shot they're working with, they are being lit as if they are under the sun. So you're taking it from one extreme to the very next.
I have a big worry about Toothless in this movie. Go
on.
I am so scared that he's just not going to emote. It's a massive issue that plagues the Disney remakes.
the Lion King.
Right, yeah. It's because they try and emulate realism too much. And because they do that, they lose all the emotion behind it. It's not too much of a worry considering Toothless' design, even though I would have preferred if they used either 1 or 2 instead of 3s. 3's a little... Like, this is just a personal take. I do think Toothless does look good, but my favourite Toothless design is 2, and then 1, and then 3 is my least favourite. But they carried that over. I understand a lot of people do like it, but I'm like, I would have preferred that. I think someone even did do a re-edit, which is kind of cool to see, but that's not really a criticism, that's just a personal preference. But considering they do have the third movie design, they are capable of bringing that emotion across. But some of the clips I have seen, I'm looking at Toothless's face, I'm like, that is not as expressive as the original movie. And to be honest, this is probably, personally, this is one of the most important points to me, is that Toothless needs to be extremely expressive. I know they're trying to emulate realism a bit, but you can still be extremely expressive while being realistic. I mean, dogs and cats are like that. And I'm gonna be so upset if Toothless is just stone faced this the entire time. Okay, I could share a couple worries. I noticed. I mean, one of them was in the Down Dragon scene. This is all out of context, so I don't know what the actual scene looks like. But this is what is in my head, and that's what I'm panicking about. Is the Toothless opens his eyes in that shot, whereas the original, technically it's an animation mistake, but but they incorporated it into the movie. But where Toothless's eyes just snaps open as they go past the wing, and also it's a little bit you see the animal, like the cat, like I don't know what the word is, but it's a bit more sharper or slit, I guess. Like that, you could sort of see the wildness in Toothless there, which I love that. I love that so much. I can understand in this newer version, I could see that probably going to try and go for more of a sympathetic angle, like, oh look, he's so cute. I don't think that's going to be so. I really am worried because I really don't think that's going to be as impactful. Because I absolutely love the journey of seeing like this wild animal being like very ferocious, and this timid little boy trying all he can connect to the creature, and then that moment in Forbidden Friendship where he's like so fierce and then immediately is like the most adorable thing in the world. That's the thing. It has to be Forbidden Friendship. I'm sorry, it cannot be in Down Dragon at all. And people are going to say this is me nitpicking, but I think this is very important storytelling, considering Toothless does speak in the movie, but he doesn't speak in words. He speaks in his visuals. Said my piece. And also, I think there was a couple of things in the Forbidden Friendship scene when Toothless was being a bit, like, stone-faced in some things. Like, when he was walking towards Hiccup and Hiccup backed off. In the original, he was a lot more curious looking.
Yeah.
I think in this he looked a bit...
He was turning his head all the time.
Yeah, like, really exaggerated. I mean, even dogs do that, but...
Yeah.
But, I don't know, it's just, like, it seems a bit, like, stiff and, like, not trying to emote too much, which really panics me, honestly. That would be one of my major criticisms if that does end up being true. It does also stem from another leaked bit of footage, which I will sort of talk about.
Yeah.
Because by the time this comes out, it may be out. But it's like a test. I don't know what it is. I don't know, Zane, if you've seen it.
I probably haven't.
It's footage of Toothless flying.
Yeah.
Oh. I haven't seen that.
It's like the test for flight scene, but it doesn't have Hiccup in it. I think Hiccup is edited out and it's cut together like a promo piece.
Okay, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, but I could tell it's a test flight scene because there's like the iconic shots, like with Hiccup looking at the oh my god, come on GCSE geography, where are you? What's the arch? Fuck, what's it called? I think it's just called arch. My GCSE has failed me. No. But there's some additional shots, unlike the original movie, which is fine. I'm not expecting them to be exactly the same. But my worry is that throughout the entire thing, Toothless's face was just like deadpan, whereas in the original he looked so determined, he looked so concentrated. I was just like, yeah. He even had like a cheeky bit of Hiccup earlier, and I'm in the middle of it, and I was just like, I feel like we're just gonna lose that, and it's gonna be so upsetting if that is true.
I mean, like, it's a very obvious thing to be worried about because Toothless is half of a movie. And, like, if he can't emote, that's half the movie gone. Something positive I have to say about that promo is that there is this, like, helicopter shot of, like, the camera, like, flying in, and it, like, zooms in on Toothless as he flies past. I just think that shot is wonderful.
Yeah, because that's a very live action sort of shot. You couldn't really emulate that in
so cool.
animation. So there you go. There's a positive then that a live action could do that an animation couldn't do. Or would struggle more to do. So, well, we went to talk about Toothless. What should we move on to the other dragons then? Unless there's anything you guys want to say about Toothless.
Well, I mean, I guess I said my piece at the beginning where I said, like, oh, at least he looks like Toothless. It's not like, I don't know, they just took a real life lizard, colored it black and green eyes, gave wings, and that's their live action. Like, Jurassic Worldified it, where they just put spikes and osteoderms on everything. They actually just said, let's just take Toothless and put him in the real world.
Yeah, because something that I will say about Toothless, I have both positives and negatives about his design. And it's that Toothless's scales seems to take more influence from what seems to be our modern day understanding of dinosaurs. Because from a distance, the shot that comes to mind is the Forbidden Friendship shot, where you can't see the individual scales on Toothless's face. Instead, you can see like little bumps every so often, like what we theorize for scales of actual dinosaurs to look like, because they weren't like big hexagons like crocodiles, because they were very small in reality and very numerous. But I will say, this is immediately contradicted in the scene where Toothless is shot down, because as I said, the shot before where Toothless is like this, you can see like big snake-like scales on his chin, which just kind of contradict the more accurate look they went for the rest of his head. But in reality, that's just a nitpick. But I will say, it's odd because yes, it is pretty much his animated design brought into live action, but something still seems off to me I don't know if it is like the uncanny valley where it's like, oh, this thing is real now. But when I look at it, I still can't help but something seems off. I think it's because I think they could have changed a few things from the original design to make it suit the medium of live action. I'm not saying change it completely. I'm not saying to have like a ugly Sonic situation. I'm just saying
You're basically Toothless shows up. Meow.
I just think like certain parts of his design I personally believe should have been changed. Like his head in particular. Like his head is so wide. Like, well, yes, this is accurate to the original, but in real life, his head just looks like it's just been squished. Like, I would have liked if they just narrowed his head a bit more to make it look less like he was flattened by a truck. I'm not gonna lie, I would have liked it if Toothless's head like kind of resembled the more narrow appearance of like theropod dinosaurs, because like their heads are like they're essentially a triangle. They are thick at the back and then they protrude towards the front.
Mm.
And like I like that. Like I would have liked if Toothless's design was less of a pancake and more of a triangle. Can you tell we like dinosaurs?
The first design hat was a bit more narrower, but it did widen over the. I feel like that might be part of the reason, because it's the third movie's design in the first movie.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I don't have a problem with that in the third movie. Because in that, it's animated. All of the proportions are exaggerated. There, I accept it. But when it's placed in the real world, with some of those exaggerated proportions, I'm like, that doesn't look real.
Although I did want to point out one thing that I did miss, something I do like about Toothless. Let's do a little bit positive in here. I do like the weight that they give him, because when he sat down, I could hear like there's probably like thuds and I can see like the dust particles coming out. And I was like, okay, that's sick. That's sick. I do like that.
You can see like the sand stick to his feet.
I was like, oh yeah, here we go, big boy.
I didn't catch that detail. Honestly, there's a lot of details I didn't catch.
He's my big boy. Sorry, I'm just getting so emotional over a cartoon realistic dragon. Alright, what about the other dragon?
This one is just kind of hard to judge because, as I said at the beginning, how are we supposed to judge something when it's just a blur?
I heavily disagree, because me being me, the nerd of dragons, I went frame by frame with that shit.
Then send those frames. Let us analyze them with you.
I didn't save them.
Oh.
So in terms of the dragons we see in the film, we have all the original ones from the first movie. We've got Terrible Terror, the original 4. There is a unknown one. A few people said Skrill, some people said other things like Sniffle.
I don't think it's a squirrel. I think like I forget what kind of dragon it is. I think it's the one that sniffs Toothless's bottom in the second movie.
Sniffle Hunch.
Like one that properly goes up there.
Yes, that was a Sniffle Hunch. It's hard to tell because these are just so realistic designs. Like if you don't know what the original is, it's going to be kind of hard to translate it. But we'll find out eventually. There is also the Rumble Horn, which does lead to very interesting implications, which I will return to actually, because there's also another segue into another point I want to make it later. But go back to the dragons. Their design is very realistic dragons. Like if you look at, there's an artist who's been turning realistic Hatchling dragons into realistic dragons. I don't know if you've seen those images online.
I will have somewhere.
They look exactly like that, to be fair.
Oh.
Yeah. I remember looking at the head, like the Zippleback and the Terrible Terror's head. They look exactly like a lizard, like almost identical. Oh no, I won't say to Kevin's, but like
Ben, come here. We
like
need
an
comparisons.
iguana, yeah, like an iguana or something. They're like very, very reptilian head. They look great to an extent. I'm disappointed that they miss the How to Train Your Dragon style with the very How to Train Your Dragon proportions, because you could still keep the style but also be realistic. But they just lost that, so now they kind of look like generic dragons, which I'm a little bit disappointed in. I was like, How to Train Your Dragon style is like it's a stylistic choice. It makes it more unique. It makes it more memorable. This is just like colourful generic dragons, but they do look great. And I wouldn't be criticizing that if this was like its own thing, as in if this was the first time this was being made. But we have a theme coming. We have a theme in the design, guys. I know we can't replicate it in the people, but we can replicate it in the dragons.
I really wish they would send official renders so we can get a good look at these dragons, and then that would give us a lot. Because like right now, it's just speculation. We know the original dragons are going to be there, but we can't really get a good look at them because again, blur.
No, I had a good look. They look very reptilian. The Zipperback doesn't have the underbite. They don't have the bulbous eyes. They have a very reptilian face, which as I say, wouldn't really criticize, but they just don't have those proportions, which I'm a bit like, you could have translated. I could understand toning it down a little bit, but I'm just repeating myself here. But yeah.
Yeah.
I have two things to say about two different dragons. The first one is about the deadly nada, the one that flies straight past the camera.
Ah.
I love how it's still like a bright blue, because what I was worried about is that they would essentially take the same design etiquette as the first Jurassic World, where they would take these designs and just make them grey.
Yeah.
Like I was worried I would just look at the screen and just see a very desaturated deadly nada. But no, I love how it still has a bright blue to it.
Yes, definitely agree there. Yeah.
And unlike Jurassic World, we could say because as we've seen, the dragons come in many different colors. We got purple ones, green ones. Those are the ones I can remember the most. Oh, brown ones, yellow ones, I think. And I'm sure, well, either way, there's a rainbow of deadly natters and other dragons.
I will say, I think the shot that is replicating the shot of the dragons escaping the nest as the Red Death is lunging towards them, with the dragons escaping towards the light of the volcano. I think that shot looks gorgeous in the trailer.
Yeah. I really did like that. I wish I did mention that. I sort of just skipped over it because dragons were on screen. We got dragons over here.
And also, the shot of Stoic standing in the crack in the side of the dragon's nest, where it's just a silhouette of him as he looks into the endless abyss that the camera is elapsed in. I think that shot is wonderful.
I mean, that is stolen directly from the animated movie.
I know, but I do think this is an example where it's being in live action does kind of improve it, because I think it looks really fucking cool.
I do think like those iconic shots, I think was very well translated, and I think those sort of shots are like, yeah, let's keep them in. They are a lot of fun. I think I did like it.
And the other dragon I have to talk about is the Rumble Horn. Because even though I fully admit I didn't get a close-up good look at it, but what I did take notice of was the horns. Because the Rumble Horn has like a Triceratops-esque nose at the front, where it's one shorter horn in front of two bigger ones. Well, in the live-action movie, to me, it resembled more like a crown, where it was two big horns on like more the side of the head, with a absolutely massive frontal horn, which, well, yes, is a potential departure from the original design. But on the other side, I think it's cool because it looks like a crown, and Stoic rides one of them. He's the chief.
I would definitely agree that that would be a cool change to the design. But this leads me to like a massive sort of tangent or like speculation, which is interesting. It's like because the rumble horn exists means a lot.
Yeah.
Would that impact the plot? As in the intro, it's quite iconic that Hiccup lifts all the dragons. Would the rumble horn be part of the dragon attack at the beginning? Is this suggesting that this is how Stoic gets Skullcrusher?
In this
As
reality,
Maybe
Yeah.
he trains him in the movie.
I was going to say, like, it could be just setting up for this probably inevitable sequel, or live-action sequel. But could this... Either that could be set up, or this could be, instead of... A change that they could do, instead of just Hiccup saving the day, perhaps, and sort of Stoic sort of sitting on his ass just watching them, perhaps Hiccup encourages Stoic to tame a dragon, and it's a rumble horn, and he joins in with the fight. I feel like that could be a little bit too forced, but at the same time, that would be fairly sick.
I actually kind of love
Yeah.
that.
So then it really proves the point of like Stoic changing his mind and agreeing with Hiccup. So there's that interesting change, which let's see whether or not they do that. The other change, which is more of a lore thing, which does not impact the movie at all, but I care, which is, does that mean the tracker class exists? Because hear me out. In the original movie, the tracker class didn't exist. It was the fear class. But it was invented after they discovered the rumble horn and the fact that it can track.
and then Deadly Natter decided to switch sides.
Yes. I do have to admit, I'm not a big fan of the fact that I understand they kind of want to change it because then it'll be like accurate to the more now franchise like categories.
Tracker class was always here.
Yes. However, I dislike it because I like the story of Fear class being rejected because that's what they used to see the dragons as. And as the Vikings learn more about them, they can properly more categorize them better. And tracker class was invented for that. It's a small like lore or like info dumpy way of like you can see in their like knowledge or information or their textbooks how their view of the dragons have changed. And I liked that detail, but yeah.
I have never seen it that way before.
I'm gonna say, mate, your autism is showing.
Oh no!
I am very, very curious to see what the Red Death looks like.
Oh, that I am hoping.
Okay, here's the thing.
Look sick.
Like, is that gonna be like some Godzilla-esque creature? Like, I'm kind of dying to see that thing in live action, even though I didn't want this thing to be made in the first place.
Here's the thing. They have to make sure they do not show this thing in any trailers at all.
Yeah.
Oh, they will.
I know they will, but I really hope they don't because imagine how much cooler it would be if you're just, you know the Red Death is going to be in this movie and you're all anticipating and you just enter the cinema completely blind, not knowing what this thing is. And then of course, then it's just going to be the reveal. But then we all know somehow it's probably not even going to be an official trailer. It's just going to be like a random TV featurette that just shows it.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen this all the time. Like, I remember, it kind of goes back to my Jurassic World experience, and even an Ice Age 3 experience, where, Rudy, the big bad baryonyx.
Yeah.
I remember like hearing about him and being excited to, in trailers, I didn't see him at all, and I was like excited to see what he would look like in the movie, and then a random featurette showed him, just showed him, and I'm like, dang it. It's the same thing with the Indominus, where it's like, maybe it won't even be anything to do with a trailer or TV like that. Like, maybe, because like the Indominus, they were really hiding its design in all the trailers. And then its design was revealed with a plate.
Yeah.
That's how they reveal the Red Death design. It's a plate.
It gets revealed on a party balloon.
Yep. Movies like these, one way or another, you're gonna see the design before you enter the movie.
There's movies coming out whether we like it or not. Let's at least enjoy the fact that the Red Death will probably look pretty sick in this.
Yeah.
Speaking of like plot related stuff, is that the Dragon Arena looks like it's in the middle of the village instead of on the side.
Yes, you mentioned this in your trailer analysis.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is a change that, if it is true, again, it's hard to tell.
Mm-hmm.
I could be wrong. It could just be the angle or whatever. If it is true, I think is a cool change because it puts more emphasis on the Vikings' view of the dragons. The fact that where they kill them in an arena-like environment is in the center of their village. It's looked on more of a sport and more of a pastime enjoyable act. Whereas in the previous animated movie, it was more of a survivability thing. They could go more on the angle of sport because potential that it could go in because, as I say, the arena exists, the trials, the dragon killing training trials exist, which especially the ending with the monstrous nightmare is quite. Oh my god, the shot of the fire coming out that gate.
I know, it looks so good, and I love that it's practical.
Yes. Yeah, as I say, I kind of like the idea of having that bit more of a sport-like moment about it, but that's kind of it. I'm hoping they do expand the relationship between Hiccup and the other riders. I think in the original movie, it's appropriate enough. Like,
I think
it's hard to explain it. Like, it's not a bad thing to expand upon it, but I don't think it's inherently bad the amount we do get. We get enough for that movie specifically, but it does hinder it a little bit more, and it gets worse in the later movies. In my opinion, it would be cool to see a bit more of a rivalry between Snotlout and Hiccup. Perhaps perhaps as more of a friendship forming between Fishlegs and Hiccup, because I love their relationship in Race to the Edge, and seeing that on like the big screen would be really cool. And then the twins just being twins, really. Yeah, I don't know. It was just like basically take some of the relationships from the Race to the Edge, and if they inject that a little bit into into the film, I think I'll be fairly content, or I'll be fairly happy with it, honestly.
Like, now that gets me wondering if they do take elements from Race to the, like, the characterizations from Race to the Edge. Do you think the twins will just be plain dumb, or will they actually be like their Race to the Edge counterpart, where they just spout out some smart stuff every now and then, and no one takes them seriously?
I think they will be the dumb versions.
I can see Snotlout being the same, his own, I'm Snotlout, I'm the best thing since sliced bread.
I was going to say, I think that's quite a big criticism, especially in the third movie, and I think the directors or the people who make it made it be quite clear that how they took Snotlout in the third movie was very clear, like, oh, we intended it one way, but it came across totally another. And it might be, they might work on that a little bit, because Snotlout, I know how Snotlout's sort of supposed to be, but it can easily betray or easily be interpreted as other things. So they could like work on that a bit more and starting at the foundations here.
Snotlout MILF Hunter.
The thing,
for God's sake.
I think Fishlegs is probably going to be the most difficult, because at this point in the first movie, everyone is against Hiccup. Nobody even gives 2 cents about Hiccup. But then Fishlegs, once you really get into the show, Hiccup and Fishlegs are basically BFFs. So how are they gonna translate that into the movie? Or are they gonna bring some of that in, or are they just gonna ignore that and Fishlegs is just, another dude?
So, like, maybe they definitely could tie a relationship as Hiccup gains more of well, I guess love for dragons because of Toothless. That's when their relationship could blossom a little bit. But then I can understand that could take away a little bit from the romantic subplot and the main plot of with Stoic.
They just abandoned the Astrid love plot and just replaced it with Fishlegs.
I am very curious to see if Snotlout and Hiccup will have a rivalry with each other. Well, it's more one-sided on Snotlout's side because in the original book, Snotlout very much disliked Hiccup because he was Hiccup's cousin. He was next in line.
Yeah.
Therefore justifying why he hates him. In the movie, he's more just an ass because he's very egotistical. I'm just wondering if I'm just wondering if they're gonna tie that in at all.
Yeah, that and I think he tries to hit more on Astrid.
Yeah.
Which is okay. That would probably be something I wouldn't mind seeing changing. But a rivalry would be more interesting. Instead of just generic, misogynistic, egotistical guy, we can have that sort of rivalry of, no, I'm going to be first. Like, look at you, you're a dweeb, you're a scrawny little good for nothing, and I'm also a scrawny little dweeb.
But I'm wondering if are there any like book exclusive characters or motifs that could make their way into this movie? Educate me, as a novice who has never touched the books.
Honestly, that's kind of it. Because other than what Indominus mentioned, everyone else is completely different. Like Gobber is a lot more meaner.
Astrid isn't even in it.
Okay, what about dragons? Are there any book exclusive dragons?
There's so many book exclusive dragons.
Yeah.
Oh.
Pretty much every dragon in there is a little bit exclusive, apart from the few that they dragged over. There's the Bull Roger, which I think they should have named one of the unnamed dragon as. Oh, sorry. Autism activation. You activated my autism. Imagine if one of the unnamed dragons, they get a live action remake of it, and it actually finally gets named and classed.
Hey.
Imagine if they actually named the unnamed dragon.
There's four of them, but let's not get our hopes up.
They go through your entire unclassed song and just give everyone a name.
And that's just a fish.
Yeah, of course, this movie will be a 0 out of 10 if they do not include the dragon known as, and that's just a fish. We need, and
I will
that's just
say, I loved that joke in the video.
I like just randomly including Richard because I messed up the song. And I was like, I needed a 3-syllable word here, and I was like, I messed everything up. Oh, fuck it, I was just include a random line from the original video. So it's just a random Richard.
So we talked about the dragons and the books, and what does all that lead to? Merchandise!
Billions of dollars in toy sales.
Yes. Of course, what kind of toys do we... Like, we just, obviously, we want to see all the toys, but do you think... Okay, if I can just pull out 2 examples here. Kevin, if you can just stop. Thank you. Do you think they'll go for, like solid models, or the usual gimmicky one where it's like, you press a button and they fire stuff. Ah!
It's Spin Master. Of course it's going to be more gimmicky. But my question is...
Hang on. Hey, did you say Spin Master?
Yes. Yes, Beyblade.
Did you say... No. Beyblade is owned by Hasbro, and they're doing a great job. But Spin Master owns Bakugan. And currently, Bakugan merch is terrible.
I don't care.
We're in trouble.
Since the beginning.
Yeah, but the thing is, we're in trouble.
But my question is it going to be more cartoony like your Toothless? Or is it going to be more realistic like mine? Which isn't in focus.
More realistic, I think.
I hope it's more realistic.
They would want to emulate that real, like, live action aesthetic.
Like, just imagine, coming from a guy who's been following Mattel's Jurassic World toy line, it's probably gonna be, like, we could end up with, like, regular toys, like, if I can just pull out my Triceratops as one of their first toys. It's a custom painted, of course, to look like Dinosaur King, but, like, I can't even get it in focus, dang it. Let me get something smaller. Fine. This dinosaur that I can never pronounce the name of is just like, basic articulation. Head moves up and down, arms move, legs move, tail can rotate in, like, clockwise for some reason. Whatever. They could make toys like that at first, but then as time goes on, they realize they're making lots of money, and they start making adult collector versions where there's articulation in the entire leg. The tail has a bendy wire, and the head can just move in any direction it wants.
I'm going to say, we would be lucky to get the first one because it's Spin Master. But, like, I would kill for, like, a Hammond Collection-esque dragon line from How to Train Your Dragon.
Oh yeah, that is honestly a must-have. Can you just imagine? Just if I can pull up one of the no, I can't. They're all too big boxes. But, like, imagine just Hammond Collection, and then it's just you get Toothless. You get all your favorite dragons, fully articulated, fully posable. They come with stands so that when you can have diorama shots of them flying. There are just so many things like that we just want in this world. More toys that are akin to Hammond Collection, rather than just, because I know there are some good Toothless sculptures out there, but they're sculptures. And then, of course, the toys, as we've just seen, they're mostly gimmicky now, where they're just kind of stylized. Which, of course, I love this Toothless. This is nice, but, like, we need screen accuracy Toothless.
We need my Toothless.
Yes, but with articulation.
Yes. But I will say, when it comes to merchandising, there has been it's pretty much been leaked at this point that there's going to be Lego sets. But the thing is, there's been a update to this.
Oh?
It's gone from Lego sets to Lego set. It's going to be one single one.
Oh, my wallet will be spared.
And apparently it's going to be a big buildable Toothless. Like the Optimus Prime they did.
Oh, my wallet! My wallet!
Well, while yes, one part of my mind is like, oh, but I wanted a whole line of these. But another part of my mind is like, but I get a massive Toothless.
Thing is, though, like, if it was a whole line of it, I probably wouldn't have bought him.
But now that it's just one Toothless Lego statue,
I'm like, I need it!
thankfully for me, because if it's going to be a giant Toothless, I probably will pass on it, because I'm very much a sucker for making sure everything is in scale with each other. Like, this Toothless matches well with my dinosaur toys, so he's perfect for the role. But I have no reason for a giant Toothless that's about the size of my Godzilla.
You will need a reason for a giant Toothless. I will force there to be a reason for a giant Toothless.
Give me one.
Also, Toothless Kaiju. Oh my gosh.
A Toothless Kaiju. That's
Toothless.
Other than that, merch is probably going to be the same. It's going to be like a children's book, some plates, some posters, some fridge magnets, some stickers, and if they want to get crazy, a belt buckle. Oh, they're going to plaster Toothless's face on diapers. I know they would do that. They do that with lots of stuff.
I will be broke by the end of next year.
I can see it now. Toothless shampoo.
Smell like the Night Fury.
What does a Night Fury smell like?
Oh, Toothless the cereal. Dragon-O's. If you're lucky, you'll find the marshmallow flavored Toothless.
They're shaped like little Toothless heads.
Oxid.
You'll just find like a bunch of dragons, and then sometimes you'll find like the spicy flavored hook fang. The what other flavors can we come up with? What would I can only think. No, sorry, hook fang. Hook fang's the spicy one. Toothless would be the what would that
Chocolate
be?
one.
Okay, chocolate. Stormfly would be what flavor?
Blueberry.
Blueberry. Okay. Barf and Belts can be lime, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Grunkle, orange.
Hold
I mean,
on.
no, sorry. Wait, what? What'd you get?
Meatloaf would be chocolate. Toothless would be licorice.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Not licorice. Ew. But also,
I know.
You got a better idea for Toothless black flavored food? Blackberry? Is that a thing?
I don't know how to pronounce it though.
Oh, and then hook fang, raspberry hook fang. Okay.
Acetylene line.
I was trying to make a cereal, but I ended up making a popsicle line. Rumblehorn can be what's mint? Mint rumblehorn.
Hang on. I'll get there in the end. I've been researching for this one joke. Come on.
I just imagine somebody just like biting into a rumble horn and just being like, "Oh, it tastes like lime."
Acetylene. There we go. Smells like acetylene.
Well, now I'm just want to go through every dragon and give them an ice cream flavor.
That was so much effort for such a shit joke.
Now I'm hungry.
Hungry. 6 minutes to get to a 2-hour recording.
And it's almost midnight here, like 20 minutes away.
Yeah, we'll probably wrap up. Is there anything else we want to say?
I think I'm done. I wanted to advertise the merch, give them some merch ideas. I've delivered my message. So basically, Universal, give us some ice cream flavored dragons.
The people know. I must have said it now.
I guarantee there's at least going to be one more thing before this video that gets released. Before this video releases.
Yeah, but you say
I
that about
guarantee it.
every time we do
I'm kind of
this.
hoping it's that test flight promo.
Mm-hmm.
So at least we are ahead.
Like every time we do this, you always say, by the time this comes out, something else is some new lore is gonna drop.
I mean, it's true.
Yeah, that's
It
true.
always happens. It always happens.
Yeah.
I guess do the outro.
So then, Indominus.
Not yet. Come on. Indominus does the outro.
Very well then.
Okay, so I think that's really all we have to say. So, Zane, any last words?
Last words. All I can say is that, oh man, all I can think of is ice cream now. I want ice cream.
I need ice cream.
Orca, do you have any last words?
We have 2 live actions coming out relatively soon, both created by Dean.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Next year, it's going to be a nightmare for both Chris Sanders and Dean.
Oh no.
Animation is doomed.